balancing your time and your training, the reality of being a counselling student. It's an evergreen topic. We touch on it from time to time. And I think, Rory, we recognise that so often, even though it was made clear at the beginning of the course that this was pretty intense stuff, we would still get the students going, wow, this is a lot. This is a lot to carry.
Yeah, absolutely, Ken. And I'm going to be speaking really about the personal side of things, because when I trained, it literally turned my life upside down. I went from kind of bobbing along, going down the pub on a Friday with my friends, to literally being a hermit for 2 years, because the pace of the work was quite frenetic. And not only that, but I had to renegotiate with my family about my availability, because I found that every bit of spare time I had was taken up with study. It was, I would say it's a really tough course. Training to be a counsellor, certainly at diploma level, is really tough. It's not like any other course that you'll do. And in fact, sometimes the people we trained had done degrees, master's degree. I think I had someone had done a PhD. And they all said, there's so many moving parts to this. There's a placement, there is your supervision, there's the relentless criteria that you've got to hit, there's the changing emotional mood in yourself, because as you go through training, a lot of people, I'd say the majority, their view of the world changes. They reconstruct their own reality. It can be very tough on yourself and those around you. So I think going in with both your eyes open to training is really important. And I think what I would say, Ken, is I qualified in 2004. I think you qualified a few years after me. I would say, from what I can see, it's probably a little bit tougher now in terms of there's more criteria, there's more laws to navigate around. There's a whole load of new awareness around diversity, which really wasn't as visible as it is now, and it should be visible. So I think it's about the realities of training, Ken, and it's, as we've seen from the student side and from the teaching side, it can be a tough road, can't it?
It is, yeah. It is a tough road. And you've touched on some of the most important parts of that, Rory. Studying in itself is a massive ask. Watched my daughter go through her degree and her master's, and it took up all of her time. And that was just studying. A placement where you're going in and you're giving your hours and you're being there for clients and needing to collect, let's say, 100 hours to be able to qualify is a big ask. Going to supervision and bringing your placement client load to your supervisor in a informed manner is a big ask. And so often, while going through this process, students may even hold a full-time job, and they may also have a family that requires them to do certain tasks and be there in certain ways. So it's such a lot. It's almost, I think it's like doing 3 different study courses all at the same time. And then, as you've said, Rory, underpinning that is the emotional change, the looking at self, the exploring who am I really. And that sometimes the scales may fall from the eyes. You see the world differently, you feel differently about the world, and it's pretty lonely because you can't really share that with those that are not going on the course with you as well. So friends and family may be going, what do you mean? It can be really tough, and that we see it coming up again and again. I think from my personal point of view, the first thing is to not be too hard on yourself. It's okay. You're gonna get there step at a time. If you look up and you see this massive big mountain and go, oh, I've got to climb this whole big mountain, it can get really anxiety producing. It certainly was for me. And I found my best way was to have a plan in place beforehand, because that meant all I needed to do was look down and watch my feet and go, one more step, go to placement, do my notes, take it to supervision, back into college, do the assignment work. But I must say I had it was tricky when I was doing my assignment work because the demands of the real world were still around at that time. So what I did was I planned my annual leave around when my assignments were due. And I went away. I left my family and I went and stayed in a B&B and just closed the curtains of the door. I didn't come out, Rory. I just sat there doing my assignments. And that was my way of coping with that, so that I could cut out all of the external noise.
I never knew that, Ken. I never knew that you did that. That was Ken's way of doing it. Wish I'd have thought of that, to be honest. Of course, there's the life that goes on around you. My mum died. I had lots of family disruption. My wife went into hospital for an incredibly life-threatening operation. And there was some days where it was just hard enough to put one foot in front of the other. So, yeah, what I would say is just say to yourself just a little bit further. When it gets tough, just say to yourself just a little bit further, one foot in front of the other. And also, I think probably lower your expectations. Don't look at the mountain, just look at the path in front of you, because it can be very overwhelming. And I think the journey is best summed up by a student that I taught. And when she qualified, she said to me, "Do you know what the best thing about qualifying is?" I said, "I don't know, having the qualification, being able to practice, calling yourself a qualified counsellor." She said, "No, being able to see my kitchen table, a dining table in the kitchen, was covered in books." And she hadn't actually seen what the colour of the table was for 2 years.
Wow.
And eventually she took the books and put them away, and she went on to have a stellar career. I follow her on LinkedIn, and she's still doing the great work. She's still ploughing the new ground. But it is tough. Don't put rose-coloured glasses on. I'll put it into perspective. About a year after, because I'm a glutton for punishment, I did a teaching qualification, a 2-year Cert Ed, which is a kind of, I think it was level 5 at the time, teaching qualification. It was a doddle. It was literally like a walk in the park. I turned up and I thought, oh, it's going to be another 2 years of struggle. It was so easy. And it wasn't because I got any cleverer in that 2 years of taking my diploma. It was because the workload was so high that when I went into another piece of education, it was noticeable how low the workload was. Turn up, do some assignments, do some work in the classroom, and do a little few experiments. And at the end of 2 years, I ended up qualifying. Off I went.
Wow.
So, yeah, if you've got it, I think the thing is, if you've got it in your heart, if you've got heart for the work, heart for helping people, that's going to bring you through. So have a long think and have a long conversation, a long chat with your nearest and dearest, because I guarantee you won't be seeing much of them. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video valuable. For more free resources, have a look at our YouTube channel or visit counsellingtutor.com